In this video, we are going to see about the third topic, UML diagrams in Unit 1 from the subject CS-8592, Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. First, we see what is UML. UML is a Unified Modeling Language, and this language is used for modeling the software systems, and it also is the interaction between the stakeholders of systems. And also it is developed for specifying, visualizing, constructing and documenting the artifacts of a system. Artifacts means not natural. It is an object made by a human being. These are the various building blocks of Unified Modeling Language. The first building block is thing, second one is relationships, third one is diagrams. Next we see the types of UML diagram. These are all the diagrams which come under the UML diagrams. This UML diagram is categorized into two types. The first one is structural or static. The second one is behavioral or dynamic. Under the structural, there are four types. First one is class diagram. Second one is object diagram. Third one is component diagram. The last one is deployment diagram. And under the behavioral diagram, there are five types. The first one is use case diagram. Second one is sequence diagram. Third one is collaboration diagram. And fourth one is state chart diagram. The fifth one is activity diagram. There is the sequence diagram and collaboration diagram. These two are all come under the interaction diagram. First we see what is structural diagram. Structural diagram represent the static aspect or structure of a system. It means it represents the static vision of a system. There are four types come under the structural diagram. First one is class diagram. Second one is object diagram, third one is component diagram, and the last one is deployment diagram. First diagram in structural is class diagram. It represents the static view of a system. And second one is it consists of class name, attributes and operations. This is the diagrammatic representation. It contains class name, attributes and operations. And third point is the most common diagram used in UML is class diagram. The last point, it shows a set of classes, interfaces, collaborations and their relationships. This is a simple class diagram. Already we know class contains class name, attributes and operations. Class name here is shape and the attribute is origin and various operations are move off, resize off, display off. And this is a parent class or base class. And the different shapes are rectangle, circle, polygon. This child class are inherited from the parent. Actually, parent class is inherited by the child class. And from rectangle, square can be formed from the rectangle. And this arrow represents, this is the generalization symbol. Generalization symbol. Second diagram which come under structural is object. It also represents the static view of a system. And the second thing is it shows set of objects and their relationships. And third thing, object is an instance of a class diagram. This is the object diagram. For this class name company, we are creating the object C. Okay. And under the company, there are two departments, department 1 and department 2. That is, for this department, we are creating the object as D2 and this department, we are creating the object as D1. Okay. Under department D1, we are creating another department, that is, we are creating the object as D3. Okay. And next, under the department, we are creating another class person. And P is the object for the person class. Okay. And under the person, we are writing the contact information. Here we are not creating the object, right? So it is called anonymous object. Anonymous object in the sense, class or object which is not associated with any object or class. It means we can't refer to them beyond the point where they create. Okay. So these are all the links and this is the object. Object means C, D1, D2, D3, D, this P, these are all the objects. And this is the attributes. Right? This is the class name and this is the attribute values. Attribute values and this is the anonymous object. Third diagram come under structural is component diagram. It represents the static view of a system. The second thing here is it represents a set of components and the relation. In object diagram, it represents a set of objects and the relationship. In component diagram, it represents a set of components and the relationship. And third one is it is related to the class diagram. In that, a component maps to one or more classes, interfaces and collaborations. This is the component diagram. This is component, this is component, this is component, this is also component. Okay. So here index.html is dependent on find.html. So there it is shown by dotted arrows. Okay. This is the dependency symbol. And this is the executable find.exe. It contains all executable files. And also whatever the operations performed on this pages, it will be reflected in this executable file. And without this library files, we can't execute the program. Fourth diagram command the structural is deployment diagram. It also represents the static view of a system, right? And second thing is it is a set of nodes and the relationship. In component diagram, it is a set of component and the relationship. In object, it's a set of objects and the relationship. In deployment diagram, it's a set of nodes and the relationship. The last thing here is it is related to the component diagram. In that, the node encloses one or more component. This is the deployment diagram. Here all these are nodes, right? So node means it describes the physical devices used inside the system. Okay? And here each system is called a server. Without the server, the system can't work. Okay? If we want to access the data from the internet, we need server. So using this modem bank, we are fed the data from the internet and it is placed in the caching server. And this caching server is given to the local network and this local network is dispatched to different servers. Actually what this means, getting the data from the internet and it is dispatched to different servers. Second part of UML diagram is behavioral diagram. It represents the dynamic vision or behavior of a system. And various diagrams which come under behavioral diagram are, first one is use case diagram, second one is sequence diagram, third one is collaboration diagram, fourth one is state chart diagram, and last one is activity diagram. First diagram which come under the behavioral diagram is use case diagram. It represents the use case view of a system. Okay? And the second thing is it is a set of use cases, actors and the relationships. And third point here is mainly the use case diagram is used for representing the behavior of a system. This is the use case diagram. Here these are all the actors, customer, ATM technician, bank. These three are all actors. And this line represents the relationships and these are all the use cases. Here the customer can check balances using in the bank ATM. The customer can check balances, deposit funds, withdraw cash, transfer funds. Whatever the operations performed by the customer, it is stored or updated in the bank. Updations are recorded in the bank. And next thing here is the ATM technician can maintain repair. Maintain the ATM center. If any repair occurs, means it is informed to the bank. Second diagram come under behavioral is sequence diagram. It represents the dynamic view of a system. Okay? And it is an interaction diagram. It emphasizes the time ordering messages. The main thing here is time ordering messages. Okay? Interaction means it shows an arc, right? An arc consists of objects and the relationship, including the messages dispatched over there. This is the sequence diagram. Mainly sequence diagram is message is passed as a sequence. Okay? So there are three objects: shipment, invoice, part list. Here this is shipment object. From the shipment object, they are shipping the books. Okay. If you are shipping the books means it would ship out. Once the books are ready for ship, it will check the item status. In the invoice side, it check the item status. If it is okay, fine means will the part list return the message, return message given as item status. And this is okay means this invoice objects return the message as good status to shipment. So this is going on here. Third diagram come under behavioralist collaboration diagram. It also represents the dynamic view of a system. And this diagram is another form of interaction diagram. It represents the structural organization of the objects that send and receive messages. This is the collaboration diagram for the sequence diagram. Actually, sequence diagram takes more space. So, to avoid that, we are using the collaboration diagram. Okay? Here, the actor asks the shipment status in the to the shipment object. Shipment status means whether the books are available or not. Okay? So, once the books are shipped, the shipment message is given to the invoice. This invoice object generates the invoice statement and check the item status. And this check item status message is given to the part list. This is the sequence. This is the sequence of messages sent and received. Okay? This is the fourth diagram come under behavioralist state chart diagram. Okay? It represents the dynamic view of a system. And this state chart diagram shows a state machine consisting of states, transitions, events and activities. And third thing is mainly used for modeling the behavior of an interface, class and collaborations. And main thing here is it was the event ordered behavior of an object. Actually, the event performed by an object is represented by a state. Here we see the state chart diagram. This is a state chart diagram for off, on, switch on and off. Okay. So, initial state is represented by a circle with a mark, and first the initial state is given to off state. Once it is switch on means it go to the next state, that is on state, and from this on state if you are giving switch off means it will pass to the off state. These are the states, and these are the events between the states. These are the events, and this arrow represents the state transition. For shutdown, final state there we are using double circle. Fifth diagram come under behavioralist activity diagram. It also represents the dynamic view of a system. And this is a special kind of state chart diagram. Actually, what it means, it shows the flow from activity to activity within a system. And mainly used for modeling the behavior of modeling the functions or function of a system. And main thing here is the flow of control among the, or it shows the flow of control among the objects. This is the activity diagram for mail. And this is the start state. First we are opening the mail. Okay. After opening the mail, we are taking the decision whether it is whether want to read or delete. So if this is the decision node, and this decision node is represented by diamond box. If it is important means we are reading the mail. If it is not important means we are deleting the mail. Okay. Both are done in the mails. So it is merged and it is ended. And it is ended by a double circle. It is a final state. Double circle. Thank you for watching this presentation.